Okay, so last but certainly not least, we have Madi. Madi is really passionate about mental health and is going to take a particular focus on men's mental health and male suicide prevention.
I have an ending for you, but not a beginning, or do I? I am a woman. To most of you would consider me a victim of the patriarchy. Men are seen as the stronger sex, whereas women are seen to suffer as a result of systematic prejudice. But what if I told you that men were the real victims? Now let's talk about men's mental health and suicide prevention. In the UK, there are 12 male suicides a day, and globally, 1 man dies every minute of every day. And in the UK, 3 out of 4 suicides are by male. Why are these statistics so high? Doesn't it worry you? It worries me. These high suicide rates are linked to risk factors. We learn by experience and societal input. Our childhood has a large imprint in our latest lifestyles and behaviours, where a history of being abused as a child can lead to the difficulty in forming relationships, both personally and professionally. These issues can then lead into seeking escapism through drink and drug, which a developed dependency can landslide to financial difficulties and unemployment, exacerbating self-harm and sabotaging behaviours. These risk factors ultimately link back to the traditional notions of masculinity and how men feel that they have to be strong and dependable and able to provide for their family in order to fit into these societal norms. Toxic masculinity poisons men, and there is a confirmed link between suicidal thoughts and men feeling as if they are unable to meet the expectations of being a man. Men are strong, not vulnerable. Men are tough, not anxious. Men are assertive, not dependent. The man, the provider, the protector. But I ask you for a moment to imagine that we had a different expectation of men within our society. Vulnerability. It's important to communicate your feelings and feel supported by those around you. So what if we had a different reaction to men who showed their vulnerable side and had a different reaction to men who had suicidal thoughts? Anxiety. It's an innate response. When preserved with a danger, our body falls into fight, flight, or freeze. We praise men as protectors and aggressors, but this defies human nature. We're allowed to feel our fear. They're allowed to feel their fear. Dependency. It's normal. We're all dependent on those around us, where connection is a primary need for both man and woman. Where something as small as a hug can boost a holistic health profile, yet when seeking verbal validation and physical connection, men are seen as soft, weak, feminine. While I live no experience of being a man, I can sympathise with the pressures of our patriarchy. Now I want to talk to you about what's going on now to help prevent the mental health strains of males. Movember. Movember is a charity that are trying to make awareness to make a difference to men's mental health. A key project that they have initiated is all about starting this initial conversation. Have you heard of ALEC? ALEC is an acronym that we can all use to start this conversation. A. Ask. Asking the right questions at the right time and the right place is the key to helping someone open up. Asking questions that show you care, related to things that they're going to care about too. And real conversations go beyond work and sport, and they're about showing your vulnerability so that they can show their vulnerability side too. L. Listen. Pay full attention to what they're saying. Focus on their body language and the way they're speaking. Take what's being said seriously and don't interrupt, but allow for awkward silences. But don't be afraid to clarify and gain understanding if you're unsure, so you can get a better understanding of what they're going through. E. Encourage action. Change doesn't happen by impulse, but by a series of smaller things brought together. So focus on simple things like eating well, staying active, and encourage them to take action when they're struggling, whether it's personally or professionally. C, check in. This is a key part of the whole process, which sends a message that you're in their corner when they're going through such a difficult time. Reaching out gives hope and shows the strength of their support network. But most importantly, remain available for them. Verbally supporting someone can be very challenging. Sometimes actions can be much more meaningful than words will ever be, where sometimes a hug can express more than words will ever be able to express. The key message here is to be there for those in need, but not to be afraid to reach out when you're struggling too. I now share a beginning of a conversation, and I encourage you to support men with something as small as an "Are you okay?" as that can save a life. So let's discuss men's mental health openly and honestly to prevent men's lives from ending today.